Hi everybody and welcome. It's Christina from the website www.twinflamestages.com. Thank you for being with me for my video today. I want to be talking about crystals and how the energies of crystals can really help you on your twin flame journey. Now today's video is a little bit fun, a fun video for me. You don't normally see me talking kind of live in a camera format. I have bought myself some new equipment today, so let's see how it goes. Many apologies if it's a little bit disjointed or the sound's not necessarily as good as we hoped. This is my first time for using this equipment. And I really am excited to be sharing this topic with you around crystals. I've been a fan of crystals for many, many years. And one important thing about the twin flame journey is that it's very much a spiritual and energetic connection long before it's a physical one. And crystals have a vibrational charge and very special healing properties within. So they can really make a difference to us, our own vibration, how we feel about the journey. In essence, they offer us vibrational assistance to help us as we go through. They can help us heal in the same way that food provides nutrition, that drugs act on certain chemical pathways in the body, and the way that different colours affect our moods. So we've all been told that dark colours recede and light colours come forward, but it's more than that. Colours can agitate or soothe, and it's the same thing with colours in crystals. And it really makes a difference to our homes, our clothing. All these colours and different things make a huge difference to how we feel. And so this is what I want to share with you today. Coloured clothing, coloured crystals have always been a bit of a pick-me-up emotionally for me since I was a young child. And they say that crystals have hidden intelligence as part of their healing properties. And I know personally that throughout my twin flame journey of about 19 years now, I've personally been drawn to different crystals and their colours at different times in my life. And I came across a recent crystal. I was going through and tidying up my jewellery drawer, and I found this crystal and about 50 other gemstone bracelets that I have. And I will talk a little bit more about those 50 gemstone bracelets later in this video. But this one is really, really relevant to my twin flame journey because it's quite funny when I read up on the properties of this particular stone, which is called serenophyte, in relation to when I bought it. So this is serenophyte, named after seraphim angels, and it's considered to be a stone of strong enlightenment. It whisks you up to higher vibrations spiritually and opens the crown and higher crown chakras, opening you up to love. Now, what's really interesting and why this is so relevant to twin flames is that when I bought this serenophyte crystal, it was only 2 weeks before I had an amazing spiritual experience, an awesome soul experience, actually whilst I was sitting next to my twin flame at work, that absolutely confirmed 100% our connection, our spiritual connection that we had with each other, and something that I spoke about in one of the posts on my blog called Twin Flame Connection, the day I discovered I was a twin flame. There's also been other crystals on my journey. This is another interesting one, going through some photos the other day. This is a pendant. This is actually a clear quartz crystal, but it's actually got 2 crystals here together and a little bit of what I call the third energy. But there are what's called as a soulmate crystal or a tantric twin, where you can actually see that you've got 2 crystals in there, very, very similar shape and size, that are fully connected on one size. And this is something I was wearing a lot when I first met my twin flame about 19 years ago. I've confirmed it through photos. And if you're new to my personal twin flame story, that first meeting with my twin flame happened halfway around the world, when I was attending a conference in my twin flames country. I was only there for like 3 or 4 days, and just by sheer luck, or we know it's not sheer luck, he happened to be at the conference at the same time, actually presenting on stage. Anyway, so it obviously took some divine orchestration to organise that for us, and to make sure that both myself and my twin flame were an energetic match at the time, in order for us to meet up at that particular space. So today, in the rest of today's video, I'm going to go through and share some of the crystals that I have in my personal collection and that I have found very beneficial, have properties that will help you and potentially your twin flame on the twin flame journey. Okay, so first off, I want to look at a group of crystals that I've put together in a category of healing crystals. The first one here that I want to talk about is carnelian. And carnelian is actually kind of an orangey coloured stone, and it removes doubts and despair and reminds us of our inner strengths. We can use it as a focus for past life work. It regulates addictions, calms anger, and banishes emotional negativity. You'll probably find this in most of the crystals. That colour is quite similar, so a lot of the ones that are in red colour will be doing with anger and emotions and stuff like that. But this is quite a calming, gentle stone. It feels really nice to be worn as an example of carnelian. The next other one that's very popular, and I'm sure you've heard of before and was in that stone that I showed you a little bit previously, is clear quartz. Very common stone, very see-through. You're most likely to have probably seen clear terminator crystals like this, and you can also find clear quartz in a lot of jewelry. These are just some very simple earrings that I made just out of some clear quartz gemstone beads and some other beads and some earring hooks. So clear quartz is the stone of the sun, health, wealth, and happiness. It has powerful healing and it is an energy amplifier. It works at a vibrational level, raising energy to the highest possible level. It absorbs energy from the sun and can draw down divine light. So it's a very strong and powerful crystal that you can have and you can wear pretty much anywhere, anytime. Just need to remember to actually cleanse it fairly regularly. Citron is the next stone that I want to talk about. This calms the nervous system. It's in those beautiful yellows. It creates more optimism and relaxation through the body and emotions and our mind. And it's really quite a remedy for depressive illness. It helps you clarify things in your mind, transforming negative energies into positive ones, and also promotes joy. And I don't know about you, but I think we can use some more joy on the twin flame journey. This necklace here is actually one of my favorite ones. It's just a hewn necklace that I wear a lot of. And you can also get citron in things like rings that are pretty easy to access as well from markets or wholesale gemstone distributors. Citron's really lovely because it just helps you move into the flow of feelings and to become more emotionally balanced. Something that is divine feminines on this journey. We get a lot of emotions that we need to go through, and obviously divine masculines need to learn to transmute their emotions as well. So the next one I talk about here is fluorite, and I'm actually going to read the little star that we've got here. Fluorite is a mixture of green and purple, and there's some other colours. Very, very nice stone here. It helps us heal our physical and emotional scars. It regulates hormonal, anxiety and stress-based conditions and helps with the flow of karmic release. As it says here, it grounds our excess energy, helps with concentration, helps us grasp abstract concepts. Sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up tonight. And yeah, I just find it's a very, very nice stone. Here we've actually got it in some other different colours as well as in this pendant. So that's fluorite. And then the last stone I want to cover here on the basic kind of healing crystals is one you should obviously be very familiar with as well, rose quartz. I'm sure all of you've got this. I've got several rose hearts out of quartz that I've given my twin flame. So yes, so rose quartz, this is called the love stone, really a stone of unconditional love and infinite peace. It helps clear resentment and emotional wounds like anger, resentment, guilt. It can cool your temperature, reduce stress. It basically brings in that forgiveness and compassion and helps you kind of relate to things in your heart and avoid addictive behaviours. Now, most twin flames usually have an addictive behaviour. Sometimes an addictive behaviour can be a karmic if there's not another person in our connection. So the love stone here, rose quartz, can help us with this. And it really helps us to work on creating a different viewpoint and self-love and healing any negative self-images that we have, which is essential for the twin flame journey. So these are some of the key things that I want to talk about from the Healing Stone collection that I've actually come up with. The next lot of crystal gemstones that I want to talk about is something that I've grouped together in what I call a spiritual collection. And I think the ones that we'll start with first is the one that's probably most well known is amethyst. So when you generally start looking at crystals or gemstones, amethyst is probably most common. You will most likely know it from traditional jewellery. So traditional jewellery that you get from a jeweller, which tends to be more expensive. tends to use stones like amethyst. So you can see an example of it here. I actually prefer to see it in the raw format. So here, this is part of a quartz cluster. Or we have the tumbled stones in this particular bracelet or in the particular earrings that I have here. And amethyst really embodies that divine connection and guidance, as I says. It connects you with your guides and angels and helps you to actually connect in meditation and creates space for you to allow your intuition to unfold. So a very helpful stone on the twin flame journey when you need to be listening to your own inner guidance. And obviously we have some emotional and physical pain and stress that we need to work through. And amethyst can be a very calming stone to help us work through all of that. It really promotes the love of divine and also enhances our psychic gifts as well, which turn on when we go through the twin flame journey and have been activated by our twin flame through the twin flame eye recognition. There's another interesting stone here that you may not have seen before that's called the Herxgamer diamond. Nowhere near as expensive as the real thing, but quite a beautiful stone. Can be worn in bracelets, or you can get it in earrings. It's a very, very, quite a strong stone. So you don't want to be wearing it for too long, just different individual periods of time. So the Herxgamer diamond really gives you access to your own potential for growth. It's a very high vibrational stone that actually brings in deeper brainwave patterns to enable the mind to influence the body and health proactively. So changing how you are thinking. It opens up your aura and clears chakras to allow spiritual healing from divine sources. They actually say too that it will unite lovers on a very deep creative level. Yay! Something I think all of us twin flames really, really like. It activates your light body and helps you bring your soul's purpose forward. So it's really aligning us. Twin flames are a soul connection. It's aligning us to that. And it also enhances our telepathy so we can better understand the messages that our guides are giving us when we're hearing from our twin flame. It improves the dream recall, which also can allow us to have messages and more guidance on the journey. And it also obviously heightens our consciousness, being such a high vibrational stone. The next one on the path here is lapis lazuli. This is a beautiful blue stone, not to be confused with sodalite, which looks very similar, but this has more white sodalite has more white inclusions. This one has more gold inclusions. And I've just got two different sizes here in lapis lazuli. So lapis brings contentment to the nervous system. As you can imagine, blue is quite calming, a little bit like water. It's a very spiritual stone in that it unifies all of our different chakras down our bodies and is very useful in meditation. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, maybe get some stronger clarity, lapis can help you with that. There's another stone here, moldavite. I have a moldavite ring. Again, this is a stone that you can't wear too much of at any time. It's actually quite a strong stone. It takes a while to get used to. Moldavite really sets you on your spiritual path. It's meant to be a stone that has almost got extraterrestrial origins and arrived on Earth basically through meteorites and stuff like that. So can be very, very different in the energies that it brings. It's supposed to bring mental balance. It's good for clairsentience and those psychic skills, increasing our ability to receive guidance and discernment. It also helps us unattach from unhealthy attachments. So if you have that karmic or some situation that you're not ready to let go of, that might be a good stone to wear for short time periods. And it's a very high vibrational stone that is also very spiritually protective. Selenite is the next stone that I want to look at. You can actually have selenite in very long pieces that you use to protect rooms when you grid them. You can also have them and actually put them around your neck. I find this is quite a nice one. This is an example of one that would be suitable for most men and women. It's a very, very high vibrational stone. Interestingly enough, it doesn't look that special, but it really is. It's one of the highest vibrational stones on Earth. Excellent for meditation and spiritual work. It helps to open your crown chakra and your other higher chakras, helping with awareness, and can also help you dissolve any personal patterns that are no longer serving you. So you can let them go and obviously leave room and space for new ones. Now then we have Serenophyte, which of course was the stone I started talking about when I started this particular video. Such a beautiful stone. Actually not a very cheap stone. I had to get this from a specialist store. But this resonates with all the realms of the angels, because Serenophyte, Seraphinite is like the seraphim, which is a group of angels. It can stimulate the Kundalini to rise up our spine. So funnily enough, yes, 2 weeks after I started wearing that, I did have my Kundalini experience in relationship to my twin. It's a very healing stone. It can actually help resolve conflict and promote reconciliation with loved ones. And it's actually a very feminine energy stone. It's a real pleasure to wear. So for those of you that might want to be getting back in touch with your divine feminine, if you can find one of these stones, that's a very, very peaceful stone to do that. Over here we have Snowflake Obsidian. This is a stone, black with some little bit of grey white markings on it. This is kind of the equivalent of yin and yang, you know, the black and the grey, into that symbol. And it dissolves depression. Like a lot of black stones, it's very protective. It dissolves depression, increases clairaudient powers, and you can use it to discover the truth about a situation. It dispels fears and emotional blockages. It's a very comforting stone when we do go through the dark night of the soul and some of the other emotional challenges on our twin flame journey. And then last but not least, I want to talk about this beautiful purple stone over here, Tanzanite. So this is a very, very high vibrational stone as well. It restores vitality to the body. It increases your inner light in order to radiate health, which I think is important, because the twin flame journey and the spiritual awakening that we go on does take a bit of a toll on our body, because we're literally rewiring everything in our energetic systems and our body. And this stone can help you connect physically to your inner wisdom, which we all need to access, and integrates our mind and heart to remain centered in heart wisdom. And this is one of the challenges that we need to go through on the twin flame journey. We're leaving behind our ego. We're moving more into our soul, authentic self. And that obviously means that we're leading from the heart space, not the mind or ego. And this particular stone can help you to achieve that. So these are the stones that I wanted to talk about, that I kind of linked into the area of spiritual stones. The next one I will talk about are protective stones. So these are the stones that I've identified most as protective stones. I think one that we would all be familiar with is this one here, black tourmaline, a very kind of serrated stone that has great protective energies, like all of the different black stones out there. And it transforms dense energy into lighter vibrations, grounds and shields, and helps you better understand yourself and others, something pretty important when we're being mirrored to by our twin flame. It also balances those male and female energies that we need to do on the twin flame journey. And it also balances our right and left side hemispheres of the brain, so bringing us more into our integrated self. And obviously it transmutes negative thoughts into positive ones as well, being a stone that really works on the mental level as well. Hematite is another similar stone. You'll quite often see it that's very protective. You'll quite often see this one here. It looks a little bit like iron ore. It's got a kind of a metallic viewpoint. Let me see, it's not quite sticking to my camera holder, so it's not actually metallic itself, it just looks like it. And I've got 2 versions of it here. I've got this one and the rainbow hematite as well. So it could be called hematite or hematite, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Now this stone is very good at banishing irrational fears. It provides grounding and protective energies. It absorbs negativity and restores peace into your body and your mind, and harmonizes all of it, your mind, body and spirit. Quite a nice simple stone, very easy to use for both males and females. It doesn't take up a lot of room on a wrist. It kind of blends into jackets and sleeves and stuff like that. Another one that you may have seen that's very similar to amethyst, which we spoke about on the last one, is peridot. So you'll probably find rings or standard jewellery. This actually was came from a market, so it's a little bit rougher in design than you would get, but you can quite often get very high quality peridot jewellery in your jeweler. If you do see it, it's most often in chips. So you see it's like little glassy chips. It actually comes from volcanic areas. So this stone peridot is really, really good. As it says here, it's a great friend in times of need or loneliness. It helps you with clear thinking. It's a stone of protection and balances and aligns the spiritual or the physical body with the subtle bodies, clearing any chakras, removes fears, and speeds up with our evolution. So it's very much a high-level stone around making peace and well-being. It also too helps you break away from external influences and, you know, kind of admit mistakes so that we can all move forward on the journey. Another one I really like here is pink agate. It's spelled pink agata here, but it's agate. And this is one of the simply agate stones that come in different colours. I absolutely love this beautiful necklace. Let me show it to you properly. A very long necklace. It's beautiful. I like putting it around around my neck. It gives me a weight that actually feels quite soothing and calming. So funnily enough, that's exactly what this stone does. It calms, comforts, and provides security and unconditional love. Agates are grounding stones, bringing about an emotional, physical, and intellectual balance. They aid in centering and stabilizing physical energy. Agate has the power to harmonize yin and yang, so not unlike the snowflake obsidian stone we looked at earlier, the positive and negative forces that hold the universe in place. A soothing and calming stone, it works slowly but brings great strength and can bring hidden information to light. And I think that's really important on the twin flame journey, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know, either in our own lives or our twin flames' lives. And it just helps us to become a little bit more aware. And, you know, there may have been mitigating circumstances about why your twin flame acted in a certain way to you. And this stone can actually help you with that. And then the last stone that I want to choose, and this is a great one for men, simply because of the colour of it's a little easier to kind of manipulate or use in day to day. This is tiger's eye. This actually helps us lift our vibrations while at the same time feeling grounded and stable. It's a very protective stone that dispels fears and anxiety. Again, it balances yin and yang. It can heal depression and actually lifts mood. So it's kind of a really good all-rounder stone, in that it uplifts, it grounds, protects, and improves our moods all at the same time. So yeah, these are my definitely go-to kind of protective stones that I would recommend on the twin flame journey. So the fourth and last lot of crystals that I want to talk about today are ones that I've kind of just loosely put in a group of energetic alignment because of the way they work on our energy systems within the body. And the first one I want to look at is this one that's really glistening, called Aqua Aura. It's almost a see-through stone, but it's got this gold-like almost opalescence to it that just shines. A very, very protective stone, again, very, very easy to just use on a daily basis. This is really all about spiritual knowledge. It puts the mind, body, and spirit back in alignment if you have strayed from the blueprint of our potential. It shields us from harmful relationships, so any of those karmics that don't really want to leave. And it helps us flow with life and find our own inner path to fulfillment. It's a protective shield against psychic and psychological attack, and helps us take responsibility, freeing us from limitations and creating space for something new. Kainites are kind of similar in the blue colour tones. This is an interesting stone in that it's got kind of blue striations through it. Hopefully you can actually see that there. This opens and aligns our different chakras. It's a very good meditation stone, bringing tranquility. It's good for communication and spiritual awareness. And it's one of the few stones that don't actually need cleaning, which is very nice. It actually amplifies the high frequencies that we are moving to as twin flames, stimulates our psychic abilities, and also facilitates our ascension process by drawing down our light body here onto the earth, where we can actually access that and obviously embody it. There's then another stone that you may not have actually heard about before, which is this one here called Bracelets. So I'll lift this up. This is a raw cut version. It's actually a bracelet that's got raw cuts and some beautiful gemstone cuts. So it's actually also known as green amethyst. And it links the heart and crown chakras within our body. So all the high energy comes through from our crown chakra through to the heart, and then we can ground that into our earth while also connecting to our higher self. So it's really that balance between upper and lower realms. And it also links personal will to divine will, which is something interestingly I talked about in one of my earlier YouTube videos about will the twin flame runner return? And obviously, yes, when both twin flames are listening to their own soul and following their soul's guidance, well, we have the same soul. So you're both going to be listening to the same guidance and be drawn back to each other. So that's Praserlite, a very, very beautiful stone there. Another green one that I absolutely love and adore and I've done for many years. It's almost a cloudy green colour. This one here is a lemon version of it, and it's called Prehnite. It does fade in the sun, so be a little careful. Whoops, I can't. There we go. See if I can pick up that word for you, Prehnite. So this is actually a stone of unconditional love, very, very similar to rose quartz. And it assists you connecting to your higher self in meditation. It balances all the meridians that go up and down our body, and also helps us to say no to unreasonable requests. And quite often as twin flames, we've come from I'm sorry, I'm missing all my words. We're coming from traumatic backgrounds that we need to transmute, and quite often that is learning to say no where we may not have done that previously in our life. So it actually helps us with that. It makes it easier for us to accept ourselves and others. And it also enhances precognition and inner knowing. So as I'm sure you know, becoming a twin flame on the twin flame journey involves the turning on of a lot of our psychic skills, our clairs, C-L-A-I-R-S, as they're called. And this stone actually helps you with those. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about here is tourmalated quartz. So this comes in a variety. You can get it in a tumbled bracelet like this. You can find it in a pendant like this, where it's basically clear crystal quartz with little striae of tourmaline, black tourmaline in it. This is a slightly smokier version of it here in these particular earrings. And this stone restores balance to your body, mind and spirit, and also balances the yin-yang, which makes sense because you've got black and white in it. It helps heal fears that you need to resolve, and assists you in actually expressing what it is that you really feel. And it's really important that we be honest and truthful with our twin flame, but also to do that in, you know, a non-aggressive, compassionate way, so that not only are we getting our needs hurt, but we're doing so in a way that's not really going to, you know, be too nasty or injure our twin, that we're compassionate for both. And obviously as that's happening, we need to remember as well to not take things personally. Our twin is pointing things out for our evolution, for us to become our best self, not to hurt us in any way. So these are the different stones that I wanted to show you, the different crystals in relation to what I called energetic alignment. Now, in showing you some crystals today, obviously I've been concentrating a little bit on jewelry because that's what I have a lot of, and as a divine feminine I tend to wear jewelry. But I understand and recognize that our males, obviously in the twin flame audience, who may not be so comfortable with jewelry or may not find jewelry so applicable to them. So I wanted to show some examples of the jewelry that probably isn't so feminine in its look and feel, like the Praserlite bracelet that I showed you not so long ago. Or even this one here. You know, men are not going to wear the Herxgamer diamond or something like that, but there are some kind of bracelets and stuff that they can potentially wear. And I've just picked some of the very, very simple ones here that I've seen men wear. Very simple, amber. This one here's a bourgeois bead. That one is yellow jasper. This is green adventurine. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's stunningly beautiful. This is sodalite. This one is bourgeois beads with some chakra beads. I often find in shops what they can do is they'll have some beads, but instead of this, they'll actually have leather. So you could have a leather thong around your wrist instead. That's another way of doing it. So these tend to be very fine beads that men can wear with shirt cuffs, or you can have a couple on a wrist and you could normally get away with them. So have a look for these very, very simple kind of beads in obviously the stones that I've mentioned earlier. That would be of benefit to you. What I've also seen men do is how you can have simple crystal necklaces like this. I think this is probably mother of pearl or white howlite. But what they can actually do is they can kind of run it around their wrist. Very, very simple kind of band, and just put it at the end. So that's one way of doing that. We can also use gemstones on key rings. That's another way that a man might be able to introduce some more gemstones into their life. We can also use this kind of concepts for ring pulls on laptop bags or anything else like that. You can actually apply it to a ring pull. Obviously this one's a little bit fragile, but you could have something like that where you have some of your favorite crystals. And also different countries and men have different ways of, I guess, dressing. And one thing I really noticed, I did quite a bit of work in India, is that Indian men seem to use a lot of different jewellery that has gemstones in, which I found absolutely fascinating. These are obviously female rings. These are little pinky rings. Some of the men's rings tend to be a little bit wider in thickness, but I mean, very easily you could wear a simple pinky band or something like that as a way of having a gemstone if you wanted. If you did have your ears pierced, we can get very, very simple single studs. So this is the peridot that I spoke about. This is an amethyst earring. Or the very other option for getting gemstones is simply like a tumble stone. So a stone that you have in your pocket. I have no idea what this one is. It's quite pretty. I have a huge necklace of that. This one here is the smoky quartz. So yeah, just a very simple stone in a trouser pocket. Gives you the energies without being in the way. And obviously you're going to know from the feel that it's not a coin. You're not accidentally going to spend it. Gemstones also don't need to be expensive. A lot of the gemstones that I've shown you today, I've probably bought over 20 years at different markets or distributors. And some of the jewellery I've even made myself. So it's quite simple when you can get jewellery beads. So these are just simple bead stones. So this is similar to this one here, just a little darker one. Put it on a simple pin and a very simple cord. Very simple way of adding jewellery. You could tie this onto a bag. There's just so many different things that you can do. Put it on a mobile phone, whatever you want to do. So gemstones is very applicable. There's a lot of different ways that men can do them or use them. Now, I mentioned earlier in my video today that I wanted to talk to you about the different 50 crystal bracelets and how important they were to my twin flame journey. Well, I'm going to explain now how this relates. So I have to smile. Last time I counted, I have over 50 of these different crystal bracelets in different sizes, shapes, colors, just an incredible amount of bracelets. And it's a really funny story, and it's how this all came about is I'd really been buying crystal bracelets for many, many years. I like to, or buying crystals in general for many years. I wear a lot of different colored clothing, and I wanted colored jewelry. If I was wearing green, I wanted green jewelry, purple jewelry, etc. But interestingly enough, I rarely bought bracelets. And the reason was when I started buying, all the bracelets were really horrible and chunky. They'd get in the way of my wrist when I was trying to write or type, and I really just didn't like them. But for some reason, I would keep buying them. It was crazy. I'd kind of take them to work and take them off, and I really didn't know why. Anyway, it's really quite funny. I had this weird fascination with them, and I would always keep buying more. Well, I haven't got a purple one, or I haven't got an orange one, or whatever the particular gemstones were. And fast forward a number of years until I actually met my twin flame in person. And it was really quite funny because I found out that he too has been collecting crystal bracelets. Now, it's not something I would have thought of, and you wouldn't necessarily see it in his business attire. But after hours, yes, he's definitely got a couple of different bracelets, you know, on his wrist that he will change or choose with whatever he's doing. So I found it all really, really funny. And fast forward to today, and I actually wear these bracelets more than I do all the beautiful jewelry that I've just shown you earlier, because I do find these are quite easy, and then I can put different ones on a different day, and I take them off when I feel like it. And a lot of how I actually choose them is actually intuitive based on the colour and the feel, because each of them has a different feel. And I actually don't buy any jewellery anymore that does not have a gemstone in it. I don't just buy plain silver or plain gold on its own. It has to have a gemstone. It's really quite interesting, but that's how we work energetically. There are definite properties in these gemstones that are very, very beneficial to us. So I hope in today that what I've shown you is of benefit to you and given you some ideas regarding jewellery. Let me now show you some books that I use to help look up the properties of these gemstones that may be of interest to you and of a help. So I have quite a collection of these books and have had quite a few for a while. I think the number one book that everybody really needs on this journey is the books by Judy Hall. She has a number of these books. They're called Crystal Bible. She has a number of different versions. This is the original one. And in here is a wonderful collection of gemstones, and she can go for a couple of different pages depending on each different gemstone and the attributes that it provides. I really like the way that for some gemstones they go into all the different colour options. So here, for example, this is around calcite that does come in multiple colours, and she actually addresses all the different colours, the black, the blue, the clear, the gold, the green. So a very detailed book from that aspect in finding out what the properties of these stones are. This book here, Healing Crystals, is another interesting book that has a number of different gemstones in it. It's good if you're trying to identify by pictures, but I find from an interpretation point of view it may not have as much information in there. I bought this not so much for jewellery, but for the crystals that I love to have around my house, so that I knew what the names of the unusual ones were. This book here is another favourite of mine, as you can see by all the marks on here. So this is about crystals, what they teach us, and you basically get a page for each particular crystal. The page that I marked and I wanted to show you is on that white bookmark, if I can find it. This one here, so it's all about serenophyte. So that beautiful pendant that I had talks about here what it actually does. All the different, how it works with the angels. It's very feminine in tone and works with the greater awareness of the divine feminine. So that kind of information is really useful and helpful. And it also points out what other stones it may work with. So if any of you are interested in maybe creating some high vibrational jewellery, then it tells you what other stones would be of a similar energy to include in things like pendants and bracelets of mixed stones, a bit similar to the one that I have here. So this book here, The Crystal Healer, this is another good book. What I like about this book is it's very much done in colours. So if you have a stone, you've got no idea what it's called, you can choose from the colours and try and identify it by the colours. I do find it doesn't have a lot of information, but it might be very good initially. It's a good starter book from that perspective. This book here, Sandra Easton, she's quite a well-known name in the New Age space. She has a book of 150 gemstones and crystals here. And she does go into a lot of different detail on these particular pages and these gemstones. Where's the one I bookmarked for us? This particular, nope, it's not going to work. There we go, Aqua Aura. The Aqua Aura bracelet, the pale blue bracelets that I showed you. Talks all about all of the divinatory significance, how they heal, where you can use them in your home, at work, psychic associations, how you recharge them. And I think recharging is very important because crystals can absorb energies, and most of the stones do need some kind of energetic clearing. So books like this that provide that information can really help. And this one here is some very advanced stones. I bought this because I had bought some very, very high level stones that I couldn't find in any other books. And this can go on to great stories. You can see from the pictures about some of the histories of the stones and the countries that they come from, what they mean. I've got a huge cluster of morganite. It's about this big. So yeah, a very interesting book here, but this is very, very advanced. You'd want to be very detailed if you were interested in this particular book. So these are some of the different ways that you can find out information about the stone. Of course, you can always Google, but you need to know what the stone's called first. So that's where some of these books where you can look up the colour and the stone can actually help you. So yeah, as I said earlier today, stones make a big difference. They work with the subtle energies that we're on the twin flame journey. If you're going through the dark night of the soul, grab one of those bracelets or a stone that helps you work through your feelings, to clear depression. Citron brings in more joy. Stones that help you communicate better with your twin. I find they're just very calming and helpful on the journey. I love these because you can take them on put them on for 10 minutes, take them off, leave them on the table, come and get them again later. Yeah, just very calm and peaceful. I mean, you could even, you know how people play with rosary beads. I mean, you could even do things with these specular bracelets and just, touch them and play with them in meditation, whatever works for you. But they definitely have an energy, and they're very soothing and grounding to the body at a time when our mind is going a million miles an hour and we may need some more assistance. So that's it for today's video. I hope everything's worked and the sound has worked okay. As always, if you need any more support, please come and visit me at my website, www.twinflamestages.com. I've also got multiple online courses out there for self-study. There was one around Twin Flames, You're Not Crazy, Support for Your Mental Health that I put out last year to help people through any troublesome times. And I'm currently working on another 2 at the moment. A course I put out a couple of years ago, which not a lot of people have discovered yet, is how to create an energetic twin flame love box and why you need one. And that, like these stones, is all about increasing your vibration. I look at things that you might have on your twin flame journey, things like mementos, presents from your twin, songs, photos, how we can use all of this kind of memorabilia in a practice of exercises that I teach you. There are 6 main exercises that can raise your vibration, and it's been proven with my students to stop them from killing their connection or blowing up their connection. It gets them back to that bubble love kind of feeling where we're feeling confident and loving in our twin flame connection. And of course, from that point, we can make some awesome decisions. Anyway, you'll find the links from my website if you're interested, or I'll put it in the description. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope you liked this video and that everything worked for you. Take care. Good luck on your twin flame journey. Much love. Bye.